Hello and thanks for keeping us company on tonight's edition of the 6:15 p.m. news in English on Canal International, coming to you live from our studios in Akwadwola. First up though, the headlines bearing the vocal insignia of Kejan Henry Atembe.
Despite government's ban imposing a curfew prohibiting the circulation of commercial bikes from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m., bike riders in Douala continue to circulate at night in violation of Governor Ivaha's injunction. And 24 hours after the demise of Makossa mogul Ekambi Brian, another Makossa icon passes on. Janet Gento died early Thursday after suffering from a malaise. The Makossa heavyweight was en route to Douala from Chang after a performance when he suffered a malaise. The 6:15 news rolls out in a split second with anchorman Ntarike Divine Ramsey Jr.
So if you're a fan of Makossa music, then you should certainly be conversant with that 1984 hit track, Debrousaillé. Unfortunately, its author, Jenny Gento, is no more. He reportedly gave up the ghost earlier today in a public transport bus en route to Chang in the West region. Kejan Henry Atembe reports.
This is one of his hit songs. Janet Gento died on December 14, 2022, on his way to Chang, in West region of Cameroon, of a malaise. The news shook Cameroonians and Makossa lovers who were all still mourning another Makossa icon, Ekambi Brian, who passed away 24 hours ago. Except Alain Jene, his real name, was born in Godi, Douala. As a young man, developed a passion for music, which became his profession. After rocking cabarets with other young talents at the time, such as Huygens Kuala, he was identified and mentored by Sally John. He released his first music, Debrousaillé, in 1985, a successful piece that earned him several awards and distinctions, both at home and abroad. Other albums such as Ndola Bwanga, Pompe, and Njangimoni, as well as Huitième Commandement, equally made him more popular, except Janet Gento mentored several young talents and became a copyright activist. Extra, the campaign that left him in shock until his death yesterday following a malaise as he was on his way to a concert in Chang.
All our very sincere apologies. After a hospital that's in the littoral region where the remains of Janet Gento were taken to after he passed away. D. Morin.
Renowned Cameroonian artist George Dixon is saddened by the sudden death of Makossa star Jenny Gento. A member of the Copyright Association was dispatched to Lom District Hospital by other board members where the remains of Jenny Gento have been kept. Reports say the artist was heading to Chang for a musical concert with another artist, Maniolo, when he suffered from a malaise. 24 hours after the demise of Makossa mogul Ekambi Brian, the death of Jenny Gento spread through. According to the medical doctor, Jenny Gento had died before reaching the hospital. Evaluation confirmed it was a cardiac arrest. He was suffering from high blood pressure and was under treatment. Jenny Gento was well known for one of his song titles, released in 1984. Here he praised agriculture as a source of income.
Meantime, and still on our South page, the one-time Director General of the Cocoa Development Company, SOCIETE, has also passed away. Jerome Vondo, described as a close collaborator of President Paul Biya, gave up the ghost at the Yaoundé General Hospital from a prolonged illness. Reporter Hyacinth Chia captured the rather gloomy ambience at his Yaoundé residence and now narrates what he saw for us.
A dark atmosphere here at the residence of Jerome Vondo, Omnisport neighborhood Yaoundé. Difficult for the family members to believe that the former Director General of the Cocoa Development Company, SOCIETE, is no more. But they acknowledge he has been down with sickness. My father has been sick for a couple of months, and 4 days ago, he had a malaise. We rushed him to the hospital, and unfortunately, he died this morning. The journalist and one-time Director General of the Cameroon Press and Publishing Company, SUPECAM, left the scene this Thursday morning at the Yaoundé General Hospital. Jerome Vondo was one of the collaborators of the head of state. Meantime, friends and sympathizers keep floating in here to condole with the family over the departure of the personality.
And now on to something else. Earlier this week, droves of marauding thugs wreaked havoc across various neighborhoods in Douala, molesting inhabitants and snatching valuable items from others. In response, local administrative authorities issued restrictions on the nocturnal circulation of motorbike taxis as well as on bars, despite some observed pockets of resistance and sheer ignorance in some cases. Ndi Mori now says the measures are being progressively enforced. It's a report.
It's Wednesday night in Douala. It goes effective. On the field, the SDO for Wuri makes sure the measures put in place by the littoral governor earlier in the day are scrupulously respected.
Voilà. Vous déversez ça en fourrière.
As we moved from one road junction to another within different neighborhoods, we saw commercial motorbike riders going about their usual activities. Some are aware of the circulation ban from 8 p.m. Others are completely ignorant about the recent security measures, hence their sanctions. Scores of motorbikes are intercepted, their passengers sent away, while their bikes are impounded. The bike riders are frustrated. It's a good measure, but it will affect just the innocent ones. Most of them are being arrested and their bikes taken away. They were not aware of the information. I am waiting for a taxi. I appreciate the measures taken by the governor. I think everyone should simply comply. I'm sure more than 600 motorbikes were impounded this night because we still saw motorbikes in different roundabouts around the city of Douala in their usual activities. Some have mixed feelings about the security measures, which they described as drastic. There has been no sensitization, nor time for them to adjust to the curfew. When it's le microbe, everyone is aware. When it's a press release coming from the governor's office, no one is aware. The measures must be implemented. And now, the senior divisional officer for Wuri, accompanied by forces of law and order, is bent on ensuring the measures are respected. He insists it's the only way to completely curb the activities of a group of delinquent youths called Le Microbe and criminality as a whole in the city of Douala. Inhabitants of Douala, on their part, believe they will be greatly affected by this decision, as some areas in Douala are only accessible at night by motorbikes.
So what's indeed behind the phenomenon in which gangsters audaciously pour out into the streets of Douala, generating panic with unprovoked assaults on city dwellers? Well, Gladys Ambo has been talking to a couple of psychologists and says the recurrence of the phenomenon could actually mean more than meets the ordinary eye. Here's our account.
It is becoming recurrent in Cameroon's economic city, disorder committed by a group of gangsters who call themselves Les Microbes. They operate in broad daylight and cause general panic. According to psychologists, this could be a translation of a message the young gangsters are passing across. Most of them are young men from quarters like Makia who live in misery. They are in search for a way out. It is a pretext for them to deliver a message to let people know they are hungry, thirsty and jobless. The hours in which they operate is an indication from the sense of social revolution. Today, we are in a republic where people permit themselves to do whatever they want. Children copy what they see from adults, and especially from those in power. According to them, those in power live ostentatiously while they suffer, and so it could be the only way to express their anger. As part of a solution to the phenomenon, experts recommend mass education and reintegration of these young people. There is need to first of all check out on how these young people are being taken care of in their neighborhoods. Even if they are jobless, how do they occupy themselves? How can they be integrated so that they could have confidence in the system in place, so that whenever they have problems, they can go to the authorities and lay their problems. In spite of this, authorities have taken measures to deal with the young gangsters.
And here now is another possible reason for the recurrence of the phenomenon, because trickling projections indicate that by the end of the current year, the poverty. Sherifa Saleh.
According to national statistics, the unemployment rate in Cameroon is expected to reach 3.90% by the end of 2022. To give a helping hand to this situation, the FAB Network project is putting in place means to orientate youths on entrepreneurship.
We see entrepreneurship as the only way to create employment among these youths. So the network now is coming to bring in these youths together in a hope, and the youth will express their needs according to their various needs according to their different communities. And the network now will develop business plans and seek for funders or business angels who will enable these youths to gain entrepreneurial skills and fund their businesses, thereby employing them.
It is through a capacity-building workshop that these stakeholders gathered in Douala this December 15 with aim to encourage collaboration between various stakeholders, both private and public, to boost the dynamics of innovation in service of sustainable development and poverty reduction in Cameroon.
We're building a website that where they will have all the resources on soft skills and all the subjects that I spoke. Water, energy, access, waste management, etc. And they will train on the website. And if we can find more resources, we'll go on the field to help them to accelerate their training and reach that step where they can develop themselves.
Present were youth from various parts of Cameroon, the French consul for Cameroon, and the regional delegate of small and medium-sized enterprises for Littoral. After this workshop, sustainable and socially innovative models will be created for companies and new projects.
Now, since Tuesday, President Joe Biden has been hosting African leaders at the USA-Africa Summit aimed at boosting ties between both blocs. Those African leaders include, of course, Cameroon's President Paul Biya. On the sidelines of the main event, some self-proclaimed managing of the to our correspondent in Washington, D.C., Eric Goff. Let's hear him.
I, Marshall Foncha, an ex-separatist leader, I folded my faction, and I'm laying on the table my full support for this initiative that was sanctioned by His Excellency President Paul Biya after the Grand National Dialogue. So today, we are in Washington, D.C. at the Conrad Hotel to let all Cameroonians know from all the 10 respective regions in that country that we don't need to be at war, because the Foundation for Peace, Sustainable Development has already been granted autonomy to all our regions. We must come together as Cameroonians to make sure that we rally behind these steps and initiative that the president has built as a foundation for the next generation of Cameroonians. We are here today also to let the international community know that some of us initially that were separatist leaders who laid down our support for the secession.
Now, that was Marshal Foncha, a self-proclaimed ex-leader of the separatist movement fighting for the secession of the English-speaking parts of Cameroon. Let's flip the page and move on to something else now, because the festive end-of-year season is just around the corner, and usually at this time, cattle traders across Cameroon seize the opportunity to unilaterally hike the prices of cows. In Yaoundé, and via a proactive approach, administrative authorities have reached a compromise between or with cattle traders and butchers to keep prices at the same rate. Beatrice Ngamo reports.
The heads of cattle at the Etudi Abattoir market in Yaoundé first sign supply is reassuring. Our markets will be immersed with enough beef during this end-of-year festive season. It is to ensure that a sufficient quantity is steady and respects the official prices that the divisional officer of Yaoundé 1, Aruna Nyamdi, had a working session with cattle traders and butchers in Yaoundé. Cattle traders have reassured us, and you can see for yourselves that the market is flooded. Beef will be sold at the homologated prices, and at that price, all the actors will be satisfied. Families will, during the festive season, Christmas like New Year, buy meat at very good prices in the market. The readiness and commitment reassuring from cattle traders like butchers, adding the red flesh will not be lacked in the dishes, their presence a priority. Butchers can even go below the agreed price, which is for the cattle to be available. The reassurance from the cattle traders will talk. Even after the feast, there will always be cattle for butchers to buy. And for a kind of order in the cattle sector, the divisional officer of Yaoundé 1 also called for a union of all the actors in the chain, those of National Cattle Trade Union, cattle traders, butchers, to be united under the umbrella of a cooperative in order to succeed, as team spirit yields good results.
When we come back around tomorrow, we'll be telling you about the putting into circulation this December 15th of a new range of banknotes from the Bank of Central Africa. Across Douala with our guest on the debrief. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.